When you think of stables, what do you think of? If it's a house for a horse, you've come to the wrong place. If you think it's a group of killers all working together to take over a wrestling promotion, however, then you, my good friend, are in for a treat, as we're going to be looking at some of the best stables around. I'm Dieter Wegner from German Suplex, and this is the top 10 greatest wrestling stables of all time. Number 10, Raven's Nest. If you were an ECW fan during the mid-90s, you should be well familiar with the grunge-wearing, depressed, psychopathic wrestler known as Raven. During his ongoing rivalries with Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman, Raven always had his group of lackeys known as the Raven's Nest to aid him, allowing him to dominate the organisation with 2 reigns of the ECW Championship. He effectively used them in his rivalries with Dreamer and Sandman to make their feuds appear more personal to ECW fans, as Raven would bring in the Sandman's son and wife plus Tommy Dreamer's childhood friend Beulah into the Nest. The Nest would eventually fall apart when Raven had left for WCW in 1997 after losing a loser leaves town match against Tommy Dreamer. While Raven would create several stables in WCW and TNA such as The Flock, he could never quite recapture the same success that he had in ECW with the Nest. Number 9. The Hart Foundation. There have been many versions of the Hart Foundation, but we're talking about the best one. Following WrestleMania 13 in 1997, Bret Hart turned heel and recruited Owen, Bulldog, Neidhart and Pillman to create a stable of the Hart Foundation. The group dominated the WWE throughout the year as they held on to every title that was within the company at the time and had an ongoing rivalry with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Having anti-American sentiments, the Hart Foundation was immensely booed in the US areas, yet hugely over in other countries, especially in Bret's home country of Canada. The group would sadly fall to shambles by the end of the year when Pillman died from a heart condition, plus Bret, Bulldog and Neidhart leaving for WCW following the infamous Montreal Screwjob. Number 8. Evolution. Evolution was one of WWE's most dominant factions during the 2000s and helped launch the careers of Randy Orton and Batista to become the future multi-time World Heavyweight Champions. First formed in 2003, the group was the WWE's own take on the famous heel stable I will mention later in this list. The group incorporated Ric Flair's gimmick of dressing in formal suits when confronting foes and Triple H's trademark ruthlessness heel tactics. Flair represented the past, Triple H represented the present, and Orton Batista represented the future, hence the name Evolution. At its peak in success, Evolution held on to every male-based championship on the Raw brand, with Triple H as the heavyweight champion, Orton as the Intercontinental champion, and Flair and Batista as tag team champs. In storyline, Triple H's self-centered focus on the World Heavyweight Championship would prove to be the death of this dominant stable, as Orton was betrayed by the group when he became World Heavyweight Champion. Number 7. The Fabulous Freebirds. The Fabulous Freebirds are one of pro wrestling's famous tag team in the fact they formed a 3-man team in 1979, consisting of Hayes, Roberts and Gordy, which was considered unusual at the time. The team held multiple tag team titles and had reigns in several wrestling organizations up to the mid-90s, and were most famous for 2 things: their rivalry with the Von Erichs and their creation of the Freebird rule. The Freebirds' feud with the Von Erichs occurred during their time in the Texas-based promotion World Class Championship Wrestling, where the 2 teams confronted one another in a years-long heated rivalry, with many intense and bloody matches. The Freebirds also made use of the gimmick called the Freebird Rule during their Tag Team Championship reign with the NWA, where any of the 2 members of the team could defend their titles on any night. The gimmick would also be adapted for future stables that held tag team titles such as Demolition and the Spirit Squad. Without the Fabulous Freebirds, who knows what stables would look like in this day and age. Number 6. Degeneration X. Perhaps the most popular and well-known WWE stable in recent memory, Degeneration X was well known for pushing the envelope with how they expressed themselves and defying authority figures in WWE. In both faction variations of heel and face, the group was well known for pushing the buttons of whoever they feuded with, and even had skits that made for some of the funniest moments seen from any WWE stable. From their State of the Union speech to their invasion of WCW Nitro, there were many unforgettable moments coming from their antics. The group has also had its fair share of success in acquiring championships, with multiple tag team title reigns from the New Age Outlaws, Shawn Michaels as WWE champion, and Triple H winning the Intercontinental title. Some of their stuff doesn't age as well, but they left a positive mark on the world of pro wrestling nonetheless. Number 5. The NWO. The New World Order was notable for many successes that it managed to gather in the world of pro wrestling in the late 90s. The biggest one of those successes was its part in the Monday Night Wars, where it helped WCW top WWE in the ratings for 84 consecutive weeks. The arrival of Kevin Nash and Scott Hall to WCW after recently leaving the WWE created the opportunity for the fresh concept of the New World Order being invaders trying to take over WCW. It also helped freshen up Hulk Hogan's career, as his babyface gimmick became stale at that point, and his heel turn to join Hall and Nash came as a major shock to WCW fans at the time. The NWO really captured lightning in a bottle, and they were the hottest thing on TV. The problem there was that everyone wanted to be a part of it, and after a while the stable became too large and there was more people in the NWO than there was WCW. Then we had the crazy booking of the Finger Poke of Doom, and that was the writing on the wall for the stable. That was the turning point where the NWO was no longer the coolest thing in town, and unfortunately they couldn't keep the good thing they had going. Don't get me wrong here, the NWO at its height was some of the best things in wrestling to date, but the problem there was it crashed and burned really hard. There's so many good things in the NWO that you should probably go and check out, but I'm not going to list them all here. Just let it be known that the NWO are an awesome stable. Number 4. The Shield. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns. 3 developmental talents that all got called up to the main roster back in November 18th, 2012. They came to be known as WWE's Hounds of Justice, aka The Shield. Their theme music was badass, their tactics commanded everyone's attention, and the classic matches they participated in are still talked about to this day. The Shield's run at the top from 2013 to 2014 made WWE worth watching, and put all 3 men in a prime position to do big things as solo acts, and that's exactly what happened once they split up, of course. But even though their run was short compared to other stables on this list, the Shield generated plenty of praise and not just some major achievements as the 3 men wrecking machines. Number 3. The Bullet Club. When Prince Devitt, Carl Anderson, Bad Luck Fale and Tama Tonga clicked up in New Japan Pro Wrestling, no one figured their association would change the wrestling landscape. The international stable that owes its influences to the NWO became a force to be reckoned with and introduced more American wrestling elements to the traditionally sports-paced New Japan presentation. Over time, the Bullet Club came to introduce the very best of the indies, such as AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Jay White, etc. The Bullet Club impacted the current wrestling landscape and kickstarted a golden era of wrestling thanks to its elite members. Chances are that you spotted some random folks rocking the classic Bullet Club t-shirt during the stable's run at the top. Number 2. The New Day. What started out as a tease for a new age interpretation of the Nation of Domination turned into a super corny 3-man stable full of choir boys. But once Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston and Big E started injecting their own flavour into the gimmick, the New Day finally realised its full potential. The fun-loving antics attached to all 3 men endeared them to the crowd, but once despised them. The New Day is known for delivering hilarious inside jokes, sporting creative in-ring attires, and adding a whole lot of energy to any segment they participate in. The in-ring chops aren't anything to be scoffed at, as they produce classics with the Usos, the Shield, the Revival, etc. And when it comes to singles affairs, all 3 men are amazing all on their own. The New Day brings a smile to everyone's face and will continue to do so until they give their final, hip-swiveling finale. Number 1. The Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen are the group that helped brought about and popularised the concept of a heel stable to professional wrestling, as without their formation, later stables like the New World Order, Evolution and the Corporation likely would have not come to be. While consisting of multiple formations over 13 years between the NWA and WCW, all of the formations have been led by Ric Flair, with nearly all of them joined by Arn Anderson. Many of the group's formations featured Ric Flair's trademark formal suits, worn by its members during interviews and being accompanied by a toll of beautiful women. Without the work that these guys put in during the 80s, we probably wouldn't have stables like we do in professional wrestling today. It cannot be understated that the work that these men did was absolutely outstanding, from their promo work to in-ring work to building heat to being able to take beatdowns and being able to lose but come back from it, for people wanting more and more to see the Horsemen get what was coming to them. These guys were outstanding and had feuds with everyone in the business, from Sting to the Steiner Brothers to Road Warriors to Dusty Rhodes, and they were infamous for helping create a War Games match. So really, we've got them to thank for pretty much everything awesome in wrestling today, right? Well, maybe not everything, but they've done a good job of getting stables over to where they needed to be at the time and helping move the business forward in a way that we've all enjoyed. And we wouldn't have had this list without them, let's be honest. And that's the list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments below. I know I didn't include the Undisputed Era, so I'm sure some of you are annoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed the video nonetheless, and if you like what you saw here today, give us a subscribe, give us a like, or just go and watch some more of our content. There'll be a video floating around. Give it a click. You know you want to.